everyone, and welcome to the MMA Rundown here on ABC 23. I'm Drew Shannon, alongside Albert Cameron.
How's it going, Drew?
Awesome. Great Sunday morning of MMA action coming your way. We want to thank you all for watching, and thank you so much for your support of the MMA Rundown and local MMA organizations.
Absolutely. Today's a really exciting show. Today's the first show of our new format, where we're actually going to be sitting down, talking, analyzing, bringing you information and perspective to the fights that are going on in the area.
Wait, we're going to sit down?
Figuratively.
Oh, we have to stand?
Yeah.
All right. For the next half hour, we're going to be bringing you all sorts of news, insight into the world of MMA, and so much more.
So stay tuned, and thank you very much for watching so far. We've got a big show coming up.
Don't go anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MMA Rundown. This is the part of the show where we're going to be bringing you news, notes, highlights, different perspectives from fights in the region. Drew, Charlie Gathers defended his strap.
Exactly. Defending the featherweight championship and a knockout win for Charlie Gathers, a Complete Devastation MMA 5.
Charlie Gathers' first knockout win. Now, any of Charlie Gathers' fights, if you've ever seen him fight, the fight can be stopped at any moment. The guy's so versatile on the ground. He's got excellent footwork, excellent handwork, excellent head movement. But this is the first recorded fight where Charlie Gathers actually knocked someone unconscious. The fight was an excellent fight. You and I were actually on the scene for the fight doing commentary. Charlie Gathers and his opponent, excellent exchanges, but ultimately Charlie Gathers ended up getting the knockout victory and defending successfully the featherweight championship for Complete Devastation.
A very hard-fought victory indeed, and we're going to have a lot of those fights coming up from Complete Devastation MMA 5. I'm just excited about it in future episodes, so stick around, okay? Stay tuned, you won't want to miss it. In a related story, Charlie Gathers entering a different sort of arena, and that would be professional wrestling. He showed up as a special guest of the general manager, who kind of looks a little bit like this, but it's not me. AON, Life After Death. Charlie Gathers, the special guest referee for a triple threat match.
Charlie Gathers came to Johnstown, PA, both as friends of ours, friends of guys running the show. Actually really enjoying the show by ringside. He got called to some extracurricular duties, playing special guest referee. I'm told there's a guy in Johnstown by the name of Randall Fairway whose jaw's a little bit sore from finding out how Charlie Gathers exactly defended his featherweight championship at CD MMA 5.
Albert, I will also testify there is an individual by the name of Kess Edison who felt the pain as well.
Charlie Gathers is said to have really enjoyed working with All or Nothing Professional Wrestling, and that fans could expect him back very shortly.
Should be pretty exciting, most definitely. Mike Bronzoulis in a last-minute replacement for Jason South, facing Corey the Real Deal Hill at XFC 19 in Charlotte, North Carolina.
There's so much good stuff coming out of XFC right now. XFC is a promotion based out of Florida. Their CEO has said some pretty bold things. Corey Hill's last fight before the fight coming up in Charlotte, North Carolina was at Complete Devastation Mixed Martial Arts 5, where he submitted Daryl Madison by way of Anaconda Choke, and I think we're going to touch on that a little bit later next. But in XFC, they're saying that they're going to be #1 very soon. Rumor going around is that Corey Hill has signed a multi-fight deal with XFC. Jason South and Corey Hill were preparing for each other all this fight. Now Bronzoulis is coming in for the fight on like 2 weeks' notice. This is complete and utter unbiased journalism. I don't think Bronzoulis has done the preparation he needs to hope to get a win out of Corey Hill, especially now that Corey Hill's moved up to welterweight and he does not have to cut his drastically to get down to 155 like he was in the UFC.
Well, what we saw at Complete Devastation MMA 5 from Corey Hill was nothing short of amazing. It was unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And you have to be prepared to face a fighter of the caliber of Corey Hill. We're going to be taking a look at a little bit of that fight, I believe, very soon. Correct?
Yeah. So, Corey Hill submitted Daryl Madison with a maneuver called the Darce Choke. Drew, you're 6'1"?
Roughly.
I'm 6 foot. I'm pretty sturdy for 6 foot. Corey Hill is not. He's got long, slender limbs, and the point of a Darce choke is you're bringing your arm along the side of the neck up through the armpit. Corey Hill's limbs are able to pull that kind of choke off, and Daryl Madison just was not prepared for it. Corey Hill said in a post-fight interview that that is his choke, that is the choke he will continue to use. The fight lasted all of 27, 30 seconds.
Roughly. It was a quick first round. It wasn't even a decision. It was.
Daryl Madison was unconscious.
That's all there is to it. The man was asleep at one point.
No,
literally.
In Daryl Madison's defense, though, he brought the fight to Corey Hill.
He did.
He was. Daryl Madison's much more of a sturdy welterweight than what Corey Hill is. Corey Hill's body frame probably could even support middleweight, if not light heavyweight, but he fights at lightweight and welterweight. Daryl Madison brought the fight to him, but once the fight hit the mat, Corey Hill was able to secure that Darce choke. And I think one of the most exciting things of the night was tempers flared out of both corners.
Unbelievable. Albert and I were both at ringside doing commentary, or should I say cage side?
Cage side.
We were cage side, too used to the wrestling thing. And it was unbelievable. Once the fight was over, both camps almost getting into a knockdown, drag-out brawl. Cooler heads prevailed, however, and we did not see that, and thank goodness, because it would have been even more insane than the actual fight. But Corey Hill, your winner, and
if you look up pandemonium in the dictionary, I don't think that could quite capture the mood at CDMMA 5 in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Daryl Madison's corner was with firm belief, and they didn't have the perspective we did. Daryl Madison was actually facing us when he went unconscious. We were able to see it because we were cage side. Daryl Madison's corner couldn't see that. They honestly thought that the fight was still going on, that Madison was still intelligently defending himself. Referee Chip Snyder did Daryl Madison a huge service by stepping in and stopping that fight.
I'll say.
The point of the Darce choke is not to cut off wind, but to actually cut off blood to the brain.
Right.
Had that choke been held for any longer, even 10 more seconds, there could have been very serious injury to Daryl Madison. To compound the intense flare from the corners, the crowd didn't, again, see what we saw. They saw a fight that they thought had stopped early. There was a flood of boos, and I don't think Corey Hill was very satisfied with that victory, but it was a victory nonetheless.
To be perfectly honest, I have never stepped foot in that cage and not been able to hear myself announce the decision. There was a chorus of boos like you wouldn't believe. A lot of people, as Albert said, couldn't see what we saw or what the referee had seen, and just naturally assumed that Chip Snyder made a bad call. He didn't. He made the correct call, and thank goodness, because otherwise Daryl Madison would be in a complete world of hurt right now.
We'd be talking about Daryl Madison in a very different way if Chip Snyder hadn't stopped the choke.
In probably a past tense kind of way.
See, the thing about the state athletic commissions, what they are doing, what the referee is in charge of doing, is looking out for fighter safety.
Right.
I would have loved to see that fight go even longer because both of those guys were primed to go into battle. Chip Snyder said Daryl Madison's life in better health is in danger if I don't stop this fight. So kudos to you, Chip Snyder. I really hope you're watching, so you know that you have our complete support with that decision.
All right, when we come back, we're going to discuss our inaugural MMA RunDown tournament.
Have you ever feared this happening? Or been annoyed when something like this has happened? One product can fix that. Secure Connect. Secure Connect keeps a retaining force against the plug, keeping it secured into the wall. You simply place each half of Secure Connect behind the plate, clip them around your cord, and push the yoke against the plug. That's it. You can use Secure Connect almost anywhere. Secure Connect provides the security you need with plugged-in electrical devices, and Secure Connect has earned the Good Housekeeping seal of quality. Every home in America needs Secure Connect. Order yours today.
Welcome back to the MMA RunDown. I'm Drew Shannon, Albert Cameron, and Albert, why don't you explain what's coming up right now?
Right now we're getting to our second segment to get everyone familiar with what we're doing and what we're out to do. We thought it'd be fun to bring it all together with the local and regional fights with a lot of names that you'd already be familiar with. And one of the things that me and the other kids on the internet think is fun is to talk about who would win which fight if everyone was in their prime. So I gave Drew 8 names that I thought should be in an inaugural Legends tournament. He put them in bracket form, and I'm going to tell you who I think wins and why.
All right, here's the brackets as they stand. Randy Couture and Bas Rutten. Dan the Beast Severin and Mirko Krokop. Rickson Gracie, and Mark Kerr. And Fedor Emelianenko versus Kazushi Sakuraba.
Right, well, the first fight in the tournament is Randy the Natural Couture versus El Guapo Bas Rutten. Randy Couture is most famous for being a part of the big wave of wrestlers that kind of took over the UFC after the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu thing kind of faded out. Then other competitors coming in, so Randy Couture was really the captain of the wrestling flagship. Versus Dutch kickboxer Bas Rutten. And a lot of folks in the United States either have or haven't seen a lot from Bas Rutten. He had a decent fight for the WFA against Ruben the Warpath Villarreal. Between the two, I got to give the fight to Couture. Couture did a lot of boxing in the Army. Bas Rutten is typically not that successful against wrestlers. He fought against Frank Shamrock and Ken Shamrock in the Pancrase organization out of Japan, and was kind of suspect on the submission defense. So for the first one, I give it to Randy Couture via decision.
All right, free to let Bas Rutten do more PSAs for Cartoon Network. All right, the next bracket: Dan the Beast Severin versus Mirko Cro Cop.
Ooh, see, this is a tough one. In the early days of the UFC, starting at UFC 4, Dan Severn was really the first guy to take Royce Gracie to the limit. If Dan Severn had not been caught in the triangle choke, he may have very well taken Gracie past his limit. I don't know if he would have won, but he would have made Gracie know that he was in a fight a lot more than what he did. Mirko Cro Cop is a world-class K1 kickbox striker. He's been known to do damage to his left high kick. Professional wrestler Alberto Del Rio actually fought Cro Cop in the Pride organization when he was Dos Caras Jr., and he had a left high kick that knocked him out cold in 27 seconds. The Cro Cop's left high kick is a dangerous weapon. Cro Cop also hasn't typically done very good against wrestlers. Kevin the Monster Randleman dropped him on his head, square on the back of his neck, as did Mark the Hammer Coleman. I'm going to give it to Severn. We're considering that both guys are in their prime. I'm going to give it to Severn. I think Severn's his brown belt boxing ability, coupled with his world-class grappling, is going to end up giving the win over Cro Cop.
All right, Dan the Beast Severn, your winner, and Albert's, well, in your opinion.
And this is all my opinion.
And let's not forget, Dan the Beast Severn also was present at Complete Devastation MMA 2.
Severn also talked about his fight with Kimo Leopoldo in Pride 5. Touted as one of the most boring fights, and I got a chance to talk to Dan Severn about that. And you gotta understand, it took a lot of guts for me to go up to Dan Severn and like, so talk to me about your most boring fight. Severn is a complete class act, and he explained to me, he was like, what you don't see on the tape is there was a blood trail from the ring to the parking lot, and that blood was not mine. So Dan Severn's an absolute beast.
All right, well, he doesn't get the name for nothing. All right, Rickson versus Kerr.
Rickson Gracie, in his own mind, is a 401 fight record. He jiu-jitsu, practically invented it. His father Elio and his cousins learned Brazilian jiu-jitsu from a Japanese transplant. Mark the Smashing Machine Kerr is another one of those wrestlers who came over into the UFC after Gracie Jiu-Jitsu had not taken out. Kerr was an absolute force. He was able to take guys out in definitive fashion. Who do I give it to?
Who do you give it to?
Rickson Gracie by submission first round.
Rickson Gracie.
Rickson Gracie was competed in all kinds of wrestling, sambo tournaments, able to put these guys in the back and make them submit every time. So Rickson Gracie without any question.
All right, and Fedor Emelianenko
versus Kazushi Sakuraba.
Thank you for saying that for me.
Kazushi Sakuraba. Both these guys were Pride legends. I absolutely have a soft spot for Pride. Fedor, the last Emperor Emelianenko, hasn't been doing so hot in recent years, losing first to Brett Rogers, then to Fabrizio Verdum. Sakuraba has been relatively inactive ever since Pride folded. Now again, this tournament is based on both of these guys are in their prime. Fedor has gone on record to say that he's so good at fighting because he trains all the worst positions. Whenever Fedor Emelianenko trains, he's training out of impossible positions. Sakuraba actually earned himself the nickname of the Gracie Hunter. So the Gracies are going around with their Gracie Jiu-Jitsu absolutely manhandling everybody. And Kazushi Sakuraba was able to stop Renzo Gracie, Royce Gracie, Royler Gracie, and I think I'm missing a Gracie, but Rickson Gracie, or Kazushi Sakuraba has fought them all. At the end of the day, Kazushi Sakuraba cannot stop Fedor Emelianenko. Submissions, strikes, Fedor's got it all. So to end that first round, I got Fedor Emelianenko by a first round knockout over Kazushi Sakuraba.
All right, there you have it. The second round of our tournament, our Legends tournament, we'll have that next week for you.
And you know what? I'd love to know what you think, and I think Drew would as well.
Sure.
Why don't you shoot us an email to host@themmarundown.com. Tell me I'm full of baloney if you think that. Tell me what you agree. Let's even take suggestions for the next Legends tournament. Who do you want us to debate about as far as who would win in a hypothetical tournament? Coming up next, Drew, we have emails from the fans, and we're going to have some interviews coming up. You stay tuned.
Stick around. It's the MMA Rundown on ABC 23.
Okay, welcome back to the MMA Rundown. On the first episode of the MMA Rundown, Drew, we put out our email address, host at the MMA Rundown. We said if there's anything you want to see on TV or about the fights, shoot us an email. We had a friend who did.
Yes, we did. Pete in Altoona, I have it right here. It says, "Hey guys, my friends and I bought this event on pay-per-view a few years ago. I can't remember what it was, but Oleg Taktarov and Rico Rodriguez were on it. They had a tournament on it. Why doesn't anyone else do night tournaments like that anymore? Can you put my email on TV?" No. We just did, so your email's on TV.
Pete, the event you're referring to was called Yama Pet Fighting.
Is that anything like Yama be there?
No.
Oh.
Bob, who, and I can't remember his last name right now, but he was one of the guys who put on UFC 1 with Hoyler Gracie. Bob thought that he was going to revolutionize mixed martial arts by creating a different fighting surface that was bowl-shaped. Ideally trying to prevent the stalls of when someone gets caught in the corner of the cage. Bob was wrong. So Yama Pit Fighting 1, there was no Yama Pit Fighting 2. But to answer the question at hand, why are there no one-night tournaments? And that is due to the state athletic commissions. They determined that the body goes through so much stress and through so much activity during a 3-round fight that anything more than that would be unhealthy and unsafe for everyone involved. So they say 1 fight per night. No more tournaments. I believe tournaments were done in mixed martial arts around 95, 96, right around when all the states had banned them completely. So there you go, Pete. That's what's going on. You paid more money than I did for Yama Pet Fighting, and I'm sorry.
All right, Pete. Thanks for your email. Make sure to email your questions and comments to hosts@themmarundown.com, and you might just see your question on the air.
We'd love to have it. Drew, when we get back from the break, we're actually going to get an interview with the madman himself, Altoona's favorite son, Charlie Gathers.
We'll be back on the MMA Rundown here on ABC 23. Stick around.
Charlie Gathers, how's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Charlie, in the last episode of the Rundown, we were actually talking about your professional wrestling appearance, where you kind of hit Randall Fairway square in the face. How'd that feel?
That was pretty good. I like that.
You liked it?
I definitely want some more.
Charlie, you got a huge response out of the Johnstown crowd. And I believe at CDMMA 5, I think we finally solidified your nickname as Altoona's favorite son.
If you guys say so.
Everyone agreed with us.
All right.
You're Altoona's favorite son.
All right.
What was it like? Now, I'm not meaning to stray away from the MMA side of things, but what was it like setting foot in a professional wrestling ring? I mean, these are two different animals here.
I was nervous.
Nervous?
Yes, very nervous. The whole time I was back there, I was like, I felt more nervous going in that than I did getting in the cage. Because see, we train like we train here, you know, and I don't get nervous to go in the cage anymore. I get goosebumps. I'm excited to go in there and fight and put on a show and stuff. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing in the wrestling ring. You know what I mean? There's no practice. There's no nothing. They told me what to do, and that's the way it went. So I'm glad it worked out, and I didn't make a fool of myself. And I'm definitely wanting to do more. So AON, baby, I love it.
Now, Charlie, you have a fight coming up in Ohio.
Yes.
Against Jimmy Serra.
Yep.
Jimmy Serra has gone on Facebook. If you put any weight into what's said on Facebook, Jimmy said that he doesn't really train for opponents, and I hear that got you kind of fired up.
I mean, I don't know how I looked into it. The way I looked into it was a lot different than what the feedback from Jimmy said. I don't know if I wanted to use that as motivation at the time or what, but what I took into it was he didn't have to train a full training camp for me. So that is what got me fired up. Now, if he doesn't want to train for anybody else, then so be it. That's his prerogative. That's the way he wants to fight, and apparently that's been working out for him. But I took it the wrong way. You know, you don't want to train. I train my butt off no matter who I'm going against. I went up against an 0-5 guy, and I pretended like, you know, he was the champ. So I train every fight, you know, 6 inches down this way and you're knocked out, no matter what record you have. So I have to train like I am fighting the champion, like I'm fighting GSP every time, you know. So that's just me, you know. That's why I got where I'm at, you know. I'm not saying nothing bad about Jimmy. He's definitely a worthy opponent. So I've been training. I took this fight. We had 2 weeks from my title fight. So we'll see how it goes. My body's hating me right now. I'm tired and sore and beat up, but you know, come Saturday, all that goes away once adrenaline rushes in, and we're gonna try to end it like we did the last time. You know, I'm going for a knockout, so it's just the way it goes.
If anyone from Ohio was watching this interview right now and you were able to go to that fight to see Jimmy Serra versus the Madman, you have no idea what you're in for. Charlie Gathers is never a boring fight to watch through. I think you'd agree when he's doing jumping jacks with pneumonia.
The guy had pneumonia, bronchitis. I don't know what you had, like the boogie woogie flu, whatever you had. This man was ill, but he kept going. That's the testament to this guy's spirit.
Yeah, you can never really give up on yourself. You know, I'm a firm believer in that. No matter what it is, MMA, life in general. You know, nothing's easy. And you want to do something, you got to do it to the fullest. You know, you're in the ring, you got a title shot. You know, you just got to keep going. You can't give up. You can't ever give up on yourself. So that's the way I feel.
Now, Charlie, your last fight was your first knockout victory.
Yep.
In incredible fashion, you scored that knockout. The fight was so back and forth. It was able to tell that someone was going to drop. I don't think anyone was really surprised that the Madman stood victorious.
When me and Rob Malloy. When we locked up the first time, he was definitely the strongest guy that I've fought. I didn't want to. If you see the fight, I didn't want to. Once we were in the cage and I got control, I pushed away because he was strong. I mean, I'm one of the stronger 145s, but he was a strong guy. So I just wanted to keep it standing, and it ended the way it did. Luckily, that's cool because I have to fight again in 2 weeks. So I'm kind of glad that it happened that way. But I was ready for war. I'm always ready for war. So we're gonna take the war to Jimmy Serra. You know, see what happens.
I've seen Jimmy Serra fight before, and you and I have had conversations off camera that he does have his strengths. I think you've clearly identified them. If he's not prepared for yours, I think that's going to be a very bad day for him. But it's a fight that I'm looking forward to nonetheless. Charlie Gathers,
thank
you so much.
Hey, thanks. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the support. Drew.
Thanks a lot, Charlie.
Thanks for the support. I wanted to say hello to my family and friends. Thank you for coming out to all my fights. And a big shout out to the guy at AON Wrestling. I love all you guys, and I will see you soon. I'm coming for one of them shiny belts, by the way. So AON, MMA, Go Time Sports. I love everybody. Thank you very much.
that's going to do it for another episode of the MMA Rundown here on ABC 23. You can catch us every Sunday afternoon. Sunday morning? No, Sunday afternoon. Sundays at noon. We'll just say that. Here on ABC 23. Albert, another great show.
I hope you guys enjoy watching as much as we have fun putting this all together and hosting it for you guys. I'd also like to thank our friend Debbie and her daughter, who actually caught the first episode of the MMA Rundown. She thinks we're movie stars. So thank you for watching, Natalie. We appreciate it, and stay tuned for next week.
Hang on, give me movie star mode right now. Ooh. Feel like a star now. Yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Next week we'll have segment 2, round 2, I should say, of our MMA Legends tournament, and a whole lot more. So tune in next week and every Sunday at noon for the MMA Rundown on ABC 23. I'm Drew Shannon.
I'm Albert Cameron. You guys have a good week.
Have you ever feared this happening or been annoyed when something like this has happened? One product can fix that. Secure Connect. Secure Connect keeps a retaining force against the plug, keeping it secured into the wall. You simply place each half of Secure Connect behind the plate, clip them around your cord, and push the yoke against the plug. That's it. You can use Secure Connect almost anywhere. Secure Connect provides the security you need with plugged-in electrical devices, and Secure Connect has earned the Good Housekeeping seal of quality. Every home in America needs Secure Connect. Order yours today.